Hi there, welcome back, or welcome for the very first time. You're safe now. This is your time to rest. Let go of your day. Let your breath slow down and your thoughts float gently away. Tonight I'll be reading you a fairy tale, an old story wrapped in moonlight and carried on a quiet breeze just for you. So snuggle in, get cozy, and let the soft rhythm of the story guide you into dreams. Let's begin. Story 19. Powell, Prince of Dyfed. One of the oldest Welsh fairy tales tells us about Powell, king of fairyland, and the father of the numerous clan of the Powells. He was a mighty hunter. He could ride a horse, draw a bow, and speak the truth. He was always honoured by the men and kept his faith and his promises to women. The children loved him, for he loved them. In the castle hall, he could tell the best stories. No man, bard or warrior, footholder or commoner could excel him in gaining and keeping the attention of his hearers, even when they were sleepy and wanted to go to bed. One day, when out hunting in the woods, he noticed a pack of hounds running down a stag. He saw at once that they were not his own, for they were snow white in colour and had red ears. Being a young man, Powell did not know at this time of his life that red is the fairy colour, and that these were all dogs from fairyland. So he drove off the red-eared hounds and was about to let loose his own pack on the stag when a horseman appeared on the scene. The stranger at once began to upbraid Powell for being impolite. He asked why his hounds should not be allowed to hunt the deer. Powell spoke pleasantly in reply, making his proper excuses to the horseman, and the two began to like each other and soon got acquainted and mutually enjoyed being companions. It turned out that the stranger was Aaron, a king in fairyland, and he had a rival named Hagen who kept beating him and his army at war. So Aaron asked Powell to help him against his enemy. He even made request that 1 year from the time Powell should meet Hagen in battle, and told him that one stroke of his sword would finish the enemy. He then must sheathe his weapon and not, on any account, strike a second time. To make victory sure, the fairy king would exchange shapes with the mortal ruler, and each take not only the place, but the shape and form of the other. Powell must go into fairyland and govern the kingdom there, while Aaron would take charge of the affairs at Dyfed. But Powell was warned again to smite down his enemy with a single stroke from his sword. If, in the heat of the conflict and the joy of the victory, Powell should forget and give a second blow to Hagen, he would immediately come to life and be as strong as ever. Powell heeded well these words. Then, putting on the shape of Aaron, he went into fairyland, and no one noticed or thought anything different from the days and years gone by. But now, at night, a new and unexpected difficulty arose. Aaron's beautiful wife was evidently not in on the secret, for she greeted Powell as her own husband. After dinner, when the telling of stories in the banqueting hall was over, the time had come for them to retire. But the new bedfellow did not even kiss her or say good night, but turned his back to her and his face to the wall, and never moved again until daylight. Then the new king in Fairyland rose up, ate his breakfast, and went out to hunt. Every day he ruled the castle and kingdom as if he had always been the monarch. To everybody he seemed as if he had been long used to public business, and no questions were asked, nor was there any talk made on the subject. Everyone took things as a matter of course. However polite or gracious he might be to the queen during the day, in the evening he spoke not a word, and passed every night as at the first. The 12 months soon sped along, and now the time for the battle in single combat between Powell and Hagen had fully come. The two warriors met in the middle of a river ford, and backed their horses for a charge. Then they rushed furiously at the other. Powell's spear stuck Hagen so hard that he was knocked out of the saddle and hurled the length of a lance over and beyond the crupper or tail strap of his horse. He fell mortally wounded upon the ground. Now came the moment of danger and temptation to Powell, for Hagen cried out, "For the love of heaven, finish your work on me, slay me with your sword." But Powell was a wise man, and his head was cool. He had kept in mind the warning to strike only one blow. He called out loudly so that all could hear him, "I will not repeat that. Slay thee who may, I shall not." So Hagen, knowing his end had come, bade his nobles bear him away from the river shore. Then Powell, with his armies, overran the two kingdoms of Fairyland, and made himself master of all. He took oath of all the princes and nobles who swore to be loyal to their new master. This done, Powell rode away to the trysting place in the glen, and there he met Aaron, as had been appointed. They changed shapes, and each became himself as before. Aaron thanked Powell heartily, and bade him see what he had done for him. Then each one rode back in his former likeness to his kingdom. Now at Anwin, no one but Aaron himself knew that anything unusual had taken place. After dinner and the evening storytelling were over, and it was time to go to bed, Aaron's wife was surprised in double measure. Two things puzzled her. Her husband was now very tender to her, and also very talkative, whereas for a whole year, every night, he had been as silent and immovable as a log. How could it be in either case? But this time the wife was silent as a statue. Even though Aaron spoke to her 3 times, he received no reply. Then he asked directly of her, why was she so silent? She made an answer that, for a whole year, no word had been spoken in their bedroom. "What?" said he. Did we not talk together, as always before?" "No," said she, "not for a year has there been talk or caress between us." At this answer, Aaron was overcome with surprise and struck with admiration at having so good a friend. He burst out first in praise of Powell, and then told his wife all that had happened during the past 12 months. She, too, was full of admiration and told her husband that in Powell he had certainly found a true friend. In Dyfed, when Powell had returned to his own land and castle, he called his lords together, and he asked them to be perfectly frank and free to speak. They must tell him whether they thought him a good king during the year past. All shouted in chorus of approval, and their spokesman addressed Powell thus: "My lord, never was thy wisdom so great, thy generosity more free, nor thy justice more manifest than during the past year." When he had ceased, all the vassals showed their approval of this speech. Then Powell, smiling, told the story of his adventures in exchanging his form and tasks, at the end of which the spokesman, taking his cue from the happy faces of all his fellow vassals, made reply: "Of a truth, Lord, we pray thee, do thou give thanks to heaven that thou hast formed such a fellowship. Please continue to us the form of the kingdom and a rule that we have enjoyed for a year past." Thereupon King Powell took oath, kissing the hilt of his sword, and called on heaven to witness his promise that he would do as they had desired. So the two kings confirmed the friendship they had made. Each sent the other rich gifts of jewels, horses, and hounds. In memory of so wonderful and happy union of a mortal and fairy, Powell thereafter, in addition to all his titles, was saluted as Lord of Anwen, which is only another name for the land of the fairies. The end. The story has ended, but your dreams are just beginning. Let them carry you gently through stars and silence and soft wonder. Thank you for letting me read to you. I'll be here again whenever you need a quiet voice and a gentle tale. Sleep well, sleep deep, and good night, dear dreamer. Breuddwydion melys, dear dreamer, sweet dreams.